Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be learning about AWS Code Build. Now, what is AWS Code Build? That's the first question will come into your mind. And why I'm including that in our DevOps with AWS series, right? So, AWS Code Build is a service that helps us with making builds. Now, first then we will question in mind that what is build. Now come to that point. So what is build? In software development, build means the process of converting the source code into binaries or maybe workable codes or maybe production level codes, whatever you want to call it. You can call it the final code that you want to actually run in production. That is what you call software build. You can also call it releases in suppose we are I'm working in an IoT development company and they're making builds, and that build is going to the ultimate IoT devices, okay, as a software release. So those kind of thing. Okay, now as per AWS own definition, AWS Code with a fully managed continuous integration system service that compiles source code, run tests, and produces software that are ready to deploy. Now, with code build, you don't need to provision anything. Suppose in normal cases with other build services, what you have to do, you have to provision the EC2 instances or maybe other compute services. Then you have to install the dependencies and then process it. Now a lot of complexities are there. Then the storing problem also there. Like ultimately after all that you are getting a final file, and then that will stay in your local machine. Then that file you need to move, either download it or want to move it somewhere. All this bit hassle. Okay, and what AWS is doing using the AWS Code Build service is taking away all the hassles. It's a complete serverless application. That means you don't have to manage everything. Once you start it, suppose you configure everything, I will show you in later. So once you configure everything, you say these are my configuration, run this codes, some scripts, and this is my final file, and store in S3 or whatever you want to save it. So from the beginning to end of the saving file, or you can say the process until this continuing, that time only get built. That is the beauty of this service. I can say that part. Okay, so there are benefits. So let's go with that. Fully managed build, extensible. So you can have your own, own configuration. Suppose you have, if you have own configuration, so you will have your own Docker image. There will have all the dependencies and you can just use that Docker image here. You can do that. You can AWS Code Build is a continuous scaling, so you don't have to worry about scaling and everything. If you have multiple builds, run how many builds you want to run, there will be no problem at all. Okay, enable continuous integration, of course, from AWS Code Commit or other code services, other also like from GitHub, Bitbucket, also you can integrate it. Then and like after you get the code, suppose some event happen or you make some changes, after that automatically you can configure it like that. After that automatically the process will start it, and the build process, and after the build happen it will pass to the next phase. It could be code deploy. You can directly save the code to S3, the final artifact to S3. You can do that. Okay, and it's secured by the KMS and IAM as usual. All the services kind of secured by that way, right? Pay as you go. I already explained about the pay as you go model. Okay, now I told about all from this documentation. Now in practical how it looks, I will show it, but let me show some diagram out with the flow of how it works. It will be very helpful for you. Now I will show you how the flow works for the code build. Okay, let's do it. So suppose this is your source and this is your build environment and project. Okay, so let's say source. What are the sources? Source could be AWS Code Commit, or GitHub, or etc. Like it could be anything. I'm just giving as an example, right? So now let's say this is your build environments. It could be provided by AWS managed one, or you can bring your own. It's up to you. So build project, and suppose this is your build environment. And suppose this is the actual code build project. Now, normally what happens, from the source code, it will come to the build environment and build project environment, and code build will control it, like all the events, it will go that way, like pulling the codes, then processing it, running all the commands and whatever you want to do. And in this entire process you can monitor and manage from where? I mean, monitor you can use like AWS, what do you call it, AWS CloudWatch, right? Or you can store in S3 log also, or S3 logs, right? And the ultimate build artifact, where you want to store it? Suppose, I mean, it's normally you will store in S3. So let's example. So it's the artifact, means the final file you are generating. It's ultimately the final product you will actually deploy in your IoT devices, or the actual the application you will run, or the actual project that will host somewhere is up to your project configuration. So that will be AWS S3. Okay. Also, from suppose you any kind of event, you can send via AWS SNS. Okay, you can do that. Now, is this entire process you can monitor, manage from many places. What are those? So of course our own AWS console, right? And AWS CLI. I mean, we are devs, right? We'll be using this CLI a lot. Or from AWS SDK. Right. Also, you can, what others can manage this entire build process from AWS code pipeline. Now, I will explain code pipeline in next session, so be sure to watch that one. So, otherwise, you can see normally from console you can manage, from the CLI you can manage, or SDK you can manage. So, you can manage all that. Okay, all this you can manage. So this is how it is. Now I have shown you entire, all this, theory and all. Now let's actually play with the service, isn't it? Let's do it. Okay. So usually this is your code build. So if you suppose if you go to the main AWS after login, there will search by the service code build, and there we will configure the project, right? Create the build project, but you have to make build with something, right? So if you followed our previous example, there I have used the code commit. I have added some files there. Okay, first a React.js project I have added, a simple project, just a like simple hello world kind of project. So they're saying that code build demo and so message is there. Simple, it's kind of simple project. Now there, what is most important here? The most important part here is the build spec YAML. What is doing? This is the follow series of events. Okay, I'm mentioning the runtime version here, Node.js 10. Okay, what commands install? If you want to run any kind of commands, you can provide. This here mentioning that this is getting started pre-build. So before the build actual happens, if you want to configure the environment, or do some kind of pre-installed packages, what you need to run the build, you can do all this kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm installing the npm installation, so for the project to install all the dependencies, and I'm checking what is the AWS version, CLI version installed. Okay, that I'm doing. Now actual build commands, where do you make the final output? As I told, like ultimate artifact you're generating using the build commands. Here what I'm doing, I'm just printing something when the build started actually. The first, I'm just saying that first test the codes. Okay, so I'm running some test. If the test succeed, then only move to the build phase. If the test failing, then stop there. Say the build is failed. Okay, that's fail faster than later. That's what the motto here. And if the test passing, then I'm compiling the codes. I'm running npm build. Normally you do for React projects or Angular, whatever projects, you run the build commands here, whatever build command you actually need. and then after you're done with that, I'm just logging that, okay, build process. Now moving to S3. Here in this example, I'm showing how you can actually move your, suppose from the code commit, or it could be GitHub, whatever is the source is. For this project, it's code commit. From there, how you can move the code automatically by the build code build to S3, and in S3 we'll host that file. Okay, that's simple. I will explain this build spec quite a bit more, so don't worry on that part. First, let's go back here. Okay, this is our project. I just push it in the our code commit repo. Now I've shown some basic example and view the basics build spec. Now actual part, how to start in the code build. So I'm now in the code build. So I just created, right? So in the code build, you will click on the create project. First you will create the project. There will configure everything. So let's call it demo project. What this is, this project will automatically deploy static files, will build final React codes and automatically deploys static files to S3. Okay, that's what it does. Build enable build badges. What is build badges? In mind you will have it. These are the build badges. See the build passing and all. That is a build badge. It will generate by the code build, and you can post attach some git. Like it's up to you. But here I'm not showing that part. Additional, if you want to tag anything, you can do it. What's next? The source. Now, what are the sources? Each source can be from AWS S3. It can be code commit, it can be GitHub, it can be Bitbucket, it can be GitHub Enterprise. It's up to you. In this example, I'm showing using the code commit. Okay, let's do it. Additional configuration. So, what is the depth of the you want to clone? It's up to you. If you want to use the submodule, you can do that. I'm not doing it. Just that. So here is the environment. It's a very important part. Here you can use the managed image, like under the hoods using the ultimate Docker only, right? So there you have to specify the image. Otherwise, how it will run the builds. So you can either use their AWS own builds, the image they maintain by themselves, or you can provide custom image. That's up to you. Here you will be using the managed one. Maybe in the later videos in this series, I will show you the custom one later. For now, let's go with the managed one. Okay. So what is the operating system? We will use the Amazon Linux too. You can choose as per your need. Right? If you want to do Windows, you can go Windows. If you want to use Ubuntu, you can go Ubuntu. I'm just going with the Amazon Linux. Runtime, standard. Image, always go for the latest one. That is, I will say that's a good practice. Okay. So Linux. Okay, and I'm not doing that. So service load. So when you want to run this project to pull the codes from the code commit, it need the permissions, right? For that, or maybe other permission also, if it's required, automatically getting. If you select there, AWS will create for you. Okay, so demo project. So YouTube demo project. I'm just saying. YouTube demo project. Code build. Okay, this happens. Additional configurations. So timeout here, for how many hours you can run the build. Suppose a build can be go to around 2 hours, 1 hour, 10 minutes. You don't know. I mean, it's up to your application that you can manage. How much is maximum? Maximum could be anything. Okay, let's see. Could be as many hours. But remember, how many hours or minutes you run, the billing happen that way. So make sure of that part. For now, for this project, let's go with the 1 hour. Quit timeout. Suppose it's quit and it's not processed, then it will be timeout after 8 hours. Okay. Certificate. If you want to install any certificates, you can store in S3. Do it. I'm not using any certificates. So if you want to, for some reason, maybe you want to download some resources from your own VPC machines or something, you can select the VPC. I'm not using anything from VPC. It's up to your need. I mean, if you need it, you can utilize this. Okay. If you don't. Compute. So here's one funda. So more the compute you use, the more you have to pay. Let me show you. So let's go to the AWS CodeWheel pricing page. You'll see. Okay. See, the smaller ones is lower cost for Linux. I'm showing, and the higher the compute resources, the cost is getting more, right? So you have to select that way. What actually you need, use that system, that compute power. For the we don't need much, so we'll go with the 3 GB memory and 2 CPUs. If you want to mention any particular environment variables or make the builds or anything, you can supply here. I will come to this place maybe a bit later. But know that you can add the environment variables here. Okay. Okay. So build spec, yes, the build spec. See, the by default file name should be build spec YML. If it's not the same name you're using there, then you have to specify what is the build spec file name. It could be build spec xyz.yml, but you have to mention if it's not the normal, like not the this file name build spec YML, whatever else file name you give, you have to mention it here. Remember that part. If you want to insert, like instead of using any build spec, you want to insert the comments, you can do it. I will never suggest that. Go with the build spec. It will make your life a lot easier. Batch configuration, if you want to run batch, we are not doing it. Now, this artifact part is important. Suppose ultimately you are generating the final thing. Of course, in the code itself, you can push to somewhere, but they're giving, there is an automation. Code will giving you the opportunity to automate yourself. You don't have to in the code you don't have to mention anything. Instead, you can just say Amazon S3 and then bucket name, the file name, and will show after a bit while. Okay, let's go without S3 for now. Additional configuration, if you want to, like I'm saying that it's the encryption is there. If you want to encrypt it, you can encrypt it there. Okay. Okay, I think we are all good. Now, CloudWatch log, yes. So say anything happening, you want to track it. I mean, you have to track it somewhere, right? So because ultimately after the build is done, the Docker is done. I mean, Docker is gone. Docker run container will get destroyed. Then you will not have the logs anymore. If you want to see what gone wrong or what is the bug, if you want to see anything, you cannot do that way. So enable this one for your own good. If you want to look more, have a copy of that one. I mean, for later use, you can even enable the S3 logs also, like stored in S3. You can do some analysis, whatever you want to run, you can do that. For this project, I'm not doing it, but you can do it actually. Okay. Click on the repository. Okay, I think I missed the repository part. So where is the source? You have to mention the repository. Okay. Now, while mentioning the repository, you can mention either the branch name, the git tag if you are maintaining the tags, and the commit ID. If you want to deploy or you want to make a build of particular commit ID, then you can do that. So instead, for this example, I will go with the branch one. Okay. Select the branch. I have master only branch for now. Okay. Now in the branch also, if you want to send a specific particular git commit, you can do that here. I'm not doing it. I'm just doing the latest commit. Okay. I think you're all good. Let's see. Yes. It will take few seconds and your project will be ready. Give it few seconds. Till then, while it's happening, let's go to the pricing page. I want to explore more. Okay. So the free trial is that AWS CodeWheel free trial includes 100 builds minutes of build general one. Okay. And small per month. Yes, this one for 100 minutes free. The CodeWheel free trial will expire automatically at the end of the, so it's free all the time per month. Okay. So you can actually try, huh? If you want to try it, you can try without any cost. 100 minutes is free, right? Why? There is no loss to try it out. Additional charges you may figure. So if you want to, if you're storing the artifact in S3, of course the storage charge, if you're using the AWS managed keys, there is also charges. So you have to keep sure what you're actually utilizing, keep track of the expenses using the cost explorer. Okay. Now let's see. I think project is ready now. Yep. So you'll see you have successfully created the following project, demo project. Now I want to run demo, and if I run the demo, I can assure that there will be failure. Let's do it and see what failure happens. So I'm running. See the phases. Now talk about the build spec file. See here the phases: install, pre-build, install, pre-build, build, all that. So let's see how many actual phases are there while it's happening. Let's go to the build spec specification. I will give you all these links, all these documentation links in the description. Make sure you check that one. Okay, now let's go. See, these are the possible phases: install, pre-build, build, post build. These are the builds like I used in our build spec. Report, if you want to keep a report of something. Artifacts, the final file you want to store in S3 if you want to store it, of course. Cache, if you want to maintain some cache, that is up to you. So these are the normal one. Okay, you can see example. Phases: install, we are using runtime version Node.js 10. Commands, whatever you want to run, you can utilize. Pre-build, before running the build, the commands, while the actual build commands are there, and the post build. Okay, now let's see. I think the failure already happened probably. This is provisioning. See, failed. Command execution, error while executing command S3 sync build. So why it's failed? Because we didn't give the permission. We have to give the permission of particular service users by this build, then only it will succeed. Okay, so any AWS service you additionally add it, make sure you to the particular role you add the proper permissions, otherwise it will fail. I want to show you first, that's why I just did like this. Okay, so in the build logs you can see exactly what phase it fails here. Okay, now let's give this builds role that particular access, so it will succeed. Okay, it will be in build details. Click on the build details and go to environment. You will see the service role here. Click on the service role and open a new tab. So S3, I have already created one bucket. Let's add it. Yeah, I will just explain it. Just add the permission. So S3 full access for now. Attach policy, and you're done. So you have given this particular service role access to S3. Okay, I will run the build, but before that, let's see what S3 I have done. Okay, so in S3 I have a bucket named Sandeep Demo Static Site S3. I want to host this bucket as a hosted site. What we have to do for that? Go to go create that bucket and go to properties of that bucket, and then go to that. See, there is a static side hosting here. Click on enable edit. There we will have option to disable it. Now right now by default it will be disabled, but you can enable it. Enable it. What will be the index? So index.html, and that's it. Save the changes. Now I have made this bucket hosted site. Okay, so it will be accessible here. Now I have given the access to the build role also. Let's try the build again. Try build, and this time I can guarantee it will succeed. You see the faces: submitted, create, provisioning. Okay, so let's, when the build happening, let's see what I actually did in the build. So in build, I just run the test, of course, just like in the told in the beginning. There I'm running the npm run build, and after the build success, it generates a build folder. I'm just moving that build folder to S3 and public read, because it's ultimate HTML and JSON CSS file. Nothing that much kind of private file. So we want even people to explore those files to access the site. So that's why we are moving all that public files to S3. And you'll see it will succeed in a few minutes. So pre-build, this pre-build install is done. Pre-build phase is going. This pre-build. Okay, and you can see the logs here. As it's going there, you can see the logs. See, the test also succeed. The build also succeeded, it seems. See, creating an optimized production means what is the size of the build, and succeed. You'll see the build is succeed now. And if you come to this S3, let's check if that works. And yes, it's working. So our site actually get deployed automatically. We didn't manually do any moving file of here and there. All happen automatically, right? Because at the end post build we set the command here. Okay, that's why. Now let's go here S3, and if you come to the objects you will see all that generated build files will be here. Just refresh the page, so all file will be there. See the build folder, we have these files and that's here right now. That's why you are seeing the React app here. That's code build, try yourself. I just added these lines, so I want that you try to yourself. And if you face any problem, I'm always there in LinkedIn, here, YouTube, everywhere. Just reach out to me and I will help you out if you are facing problem with anything while doing this. Try it at your own account. Okay. Now we are done with the basic stuff. I mean, yeah, we just run some builds. Normally, your cases also build will happen similar way. Nothing much special. It's your build. You know what command actually need to be done, so you know it better than me. Okay. Now, for the logging parts, logging purpose, see you can see the logs in the, let's say, let me show you just a moment. View entire log. Yeah, if you click on the view entire log, it will open in the CloudWatch. That I wanted to show you. And see, even if this is destroyed, even if you remove the project, this build project, still will have the access to this. This is huge. I mean, sometime you want to debug everything. If you need anything, in that case this will be very helpful, right? That's why I say always enable the CloudWatch. Okay, we have shown you the entire flow. Now let me show you how the artifact works. So where to configure that? Here, okay, artifacts. So go to edit section in your build project, click on the edit and then go to artifacts. There you will have to mention the artifact details. You see, right now, since if you run normal run test and push docker image TCR, you don't need to run, store the artifacts, right? But if you, in normal cases, what happens, you actually make make the binaries at the, or maybe the final release codes, and that you want to move to next stage, or maybe keep a artifact, and that will be need to deploy. That is up to you. So that part should be handled here. Okay, to store. So normally you have option for the AWS S3. You need the bucket name and the name. But before that, we have to do something else. We have to modify our build spec YAML. Let me show you. Here in the artifacts, we have to tell what are the files that you want to store as the artifact. And there in the artifacts, you are mentioning the path here, and you are mentioning the name here. So let me do that. I just want a simple name. This is our existing build spec YAML. Just saying artifacts, files, same level as phases, not in just not the phase, other level, but exactly in the root. Okay, root level. There we have our build, right? Build dot start. So whatever files you have in the build and build directory, we are just moving, we are moving everything. Demo project artifact. Okay, demo project artifact. So we are naming that file as a demo project artifact. The demo project artifact. Now we are done with this part. Let's push the change now. Modified build spec null file to support artifact. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so it's pushed now. Let's configure this. Let's come back here. So we have to specify the bucket name here and the file name here. Now, since let's configure the AWS S3 bucket name to store this artifact. Go to S3, call it demo project artifact. whatever name you want to give, to be honest. I'm just giving as demo project artifact. Okay, log all public access, all good. Let's create it. Oh, bucket name must not contain demo project artifact Sandeep. Because most probably is already taken by someone. Okay, so create the bucket. So demo project artifact. Okay, we have the name here. Let's just come back to this artifact page, refresh the page so we can have the bucket name in the list. Click on Amazon S3, select the type as S3, then the bucket name, search by the bucket name. This is the one. Name. So in the name of the folder or compressed file in the bucket that will contain your output artifact. Use the artifact packaging under additional configuration to choose whether to use a folder or compressed file. If the name is not provided, default will be project name. So if you don't provide the name, it will be the project name. So then let's not provide the name. It's okay. If you want to enable the semantic version, you can tick this one. Path, if you want to mention particular path, you can mention. Namespace, none, but you can use the build ID. So whenever you make the builds, it generates a build ID, right? Using the build ID, inside the build ID, there will be the file. It will be useful, right? So at artifact packaging, suppose normally I give you this name, right? If you want to, instead of that, you want to zip it, you can do that. You zip, like you're just you are zipping the artifact file. That's it. By default, it's encrypted, but if you want to disable it, encryption, you can do it. Just tick this one, and it will be there will be no encryption. Actually, to enable encryption, there is a better way. I mean, not better way. I mean, normally you can encrypt any S3 bucket. Just go to properties. There will see default encryption. Edit it. Enable. You will get option like AWS S3, like SSC S3, Amazon S3 key management, or KMS. You can select whatever you want. Let's say this one. Save it. That's it. Okay. There's additional options. No need to change anything. Update the artifacts. Okay. Now, if I make a build, I should see that in this bucket, that file should be available as artifact. Let's do that. Start the build. Give it some time. Okay. So the build is success. Now let's see the logs. We'll say at the very end here. Phase completed. And here you are uploading this build spec, uploading the AWS code build, uploading that artifact to the S3. Now let's come back here and do refresh. See, this is the build ID as same as this. Now click on that and you will see the demo project. And there you have it. Okay, this is a zip one. It's a zip file. Since in that we didn't specify the name, right? That's why. Now there are specific use cases I want to explain. What are the specific use cases? Let's say use cases, code build use cases. So I will give you this URL, use case based examples, where suppose you want to do like if you want to do it for the ECR image. So you have some ECS deployment somewhere. You are you're storing the image in ECR. You can actually automate that also. Let me show you the example. So there is a Docker example. If you go to that page, use case example, there is the example. Yeah. Here. So in this Docker example, it's showing how you can actually make the build. Like if you have code in code commit or GitHub, wherever it is, and if you configure that with the code build, you can automate that processes to make the build of that one. Okay. So yeah, phase normally like just in any normal build normal build spec YML, phases are there. What are the phases? Pre-build. In the pre-build, it's first logging into ECR. See, echo logging into ECR, AWS ECR get login password, our usual command to log in the ECR. Then build commands, echo build date, just showing build the Docker image, Docker build -c tagging the image, then Docker tagging that image to the remote repo. Now you are seeing this. I will just explain what are those. Okay, so Docker build -t, and that's happening. Docker tag image repo name. So these are the environment variables. Image repo name means the name of the image that is in the ECR repo. Okay. Then image tag here you set in the environment, AWS account ID environment variable, AWS default region also environment. Now these are provided by the AWS itself. You are not mentioning it explicitly. Okay, these are the default ones. If you want to have something else, then you have to specify yourself in the environment variables, or whatever you want to mention is up to you. But normally you can utilize the environment variables like this way: the image repo name and the image tag. See here. Okay, see the environment is mentioning here. Okay, now so tag is happened after the, now in this space the actual build happens. Actually you are building the Docker image. After the Docker image build, what you're doing here, they're making the post build. The post build command after the build happens, what are the next command you're issuing? Echo build completed on, showing the build complete date, pushing the Docker image in the ECR, and Docker push, then this, and with these commands you are actually push that image to ECR. Now you can, this is here, but you can do more. Suppose after the image pushed, now what you want to do, you want to deploy the changes in the ECS, right? So, or maybe in case you want to restart the pods and pull this image, so will be there. If there is automation not set, you can set all this kind of automation there. So you can do all this kind of thing, or maybe suppose you want to pass that things to code deploy, whatever it is, you can do it this way. I just wanted to show you. Okay, so let's go to the demo project, and after the project, suppose you are done with the project, you can always change the project. So if you just go edit project configuration, you can change the project configuration here, right? Or suppose you want to change, give me a moment, the source, where the source it is. If you want, suppose you change the source to somewhere, you can change the source here, right? You can do it that here. Or what you can do, or you can load, edit the build environment. Now what is the build environment? You get it, or image you are there provided by AWS. If you want to have your own image, you can provide the image. Okay, service role, additional configurations like what are the timeouts, what are the how many maximum hours you want to run, all that you can run. Suppose you want to specify run in a particular VPC to pull the resources on the particular VPC. If you have any kind of config like that, actual compute power you can mention, you can change always. Add the environment variable. Suppose I'm adding environment variable env, say node env, say value production. Okay, now here is I told you, right, I will be talking about that environment variables. Let's talk about that now. Here you are setting, you can set the environment variables. I'm setting node env production, plain text, or could be parameter, secret manager. I'll show, but let's see what it can do. So I'm doing that, plain text, and updating the environment. Okay, done, and I can just print it. Before even doing all that build, I'll say echo node environment. Okay, it will be echo node env. Let's do that, because if you see here, build spec, or no, not in the build spec, Docker, see this, the dollar sign they're doing, that's how you will access the variables. Okay, now let's just push the code in the git commit. Make sure the variable is right. No DNV. I think we already committed. I'll push it. Okay, as soon as push master, let's run the build again. This is the build, start build. So it takes, since already is done, I think it will be faster this time. So you have your phases, give it few seconds and we'll see it. After this done, I will show you the how to automate these things. I mean, I'm doing manual builds, right? How can we as soon as I push code, automatically we can make the builds. I will show you that part. Let's see the first submitted, then code, the provisioning also done. Now the source getting downloaded from the code commit. As that happens, you will soon see the logs here. See install succeed, pre-built. Yes, here. So phase complete. See? Yeah. Running command echo node environment. So I just show you what is the node environment. So I'm just echoing the value of the node environment production, right? I'm doing it that properly. Okay, good. Now, so I have shown that, but let's talk about the scenario. Suppose you have given the access to someone, so they can configure and edit it, like here. Let's go. So it's environment. So I've shown you how you can access the variable in the builds in the actual build process. Now think about the scenario that someone have the access to code build and they can easily see the variables you are setting here, right? But that should not be the case. Suppose you are passing some environment variables actually having some database key, like database password and all that very cushy information you should never store in the plain text to begin with. So how can you do that? Here you'll see, let's say DB host. Now DB hosts are okay to, it's public, not a problem. I'm just giving us values, localhost, plain text is okay. And let's say DB username, I will say can be okay to have plain text, but let's not do that plain text. You can do that as a parameter. I will show how. And add DB password. Never ever store that in plain text. Okay, that's very crucial. We'll use this parameter store. Now let's do it. So in AWS, you have a service called parameter store. Let's go to the SSM, system manager. Okay, there we will have the service of AWS parameter store. Let's go. Let's search. See here, parameter store. There we will configure the password because it's an username and password, because it should be very secure and should not be accessible to anyone else. So name, I'm giving DB password. Okay. Description, the database password. Here is string list, secure string. You can give secure string, and you can encrypt that using your KMS key. Okay. Value, the database URL here. Database URL here. Okay. You're done. db password. Remember that this name, db password. Create parameter and done. So you created one parameter, the db password. Then another thing, db user name. Okay, username, you just mention db username as a description and make it secret string and encrypt it using your own account key or however you want it. Let's say db username here. I just given some fictitious value. It should be your actual database username here. Okay. With a name. Okay. db username. I missed that slash. Okay. Now let's come here. Secrets manager parameter. This header. The index should be parameter and the value will be password and the username. Yes. Okay, so we are all good. Now see here, we are not actually giving the value, we are just passing a parameter and that value will be automatically get fetched by the that code build. Now I will show you one trick here that I think by now you should understand that, but if you don't understand, I'll explain. Okay, so update environment, and what if we run the build? Let's try to print it. Let's try to print it. Echo compliance code sets print. Let's say db username. We can just do it like that. Say echo. What was that? Let's come here. Go to the environment just to see what is set. It is db username. $db username. Similar way. db password. db password. Okay, let's try to build and see what we are getting in the value as environment variable. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so we've done it. Now let's push and let's run the build now. Let's go to the build and let's see what happens. Start the build. We'll see phases that first submitted and then code and all. We'll see it sooner. So what should happen? It will just console log that db username and password, right? Like this. Let's see. In progress, in the logs, you will see the logs. Let it. So we'll check actually this phase, okay? Pre-build phase. Let's see. Okay, success. And as soon as they're done, I will show you how to actually auto trigger this build. See, I told you, right? You should understand by now. Decrypt variables error. So what is the problem you're getting? The system get parameters. There we are not able to get it because we didn't give access to code build to access from the AWS parameter store, right? So we have to give the access to AWS code build so it can access the values from the parameter store. Let's do that. Go to the build details. They will get the project role, build role, service role, and there you have to give the permissions. So SSM, let's see. Let's say SSM full access, Now I'm giving full access for demo, but for use case we just give the whatever is actually needed. Okay, let's run the build again. Give some time. Quit provisioning. Okay, some time. Okay, and as I'm telling that after this done, this environment variables part, I will show you how to do that. Like as soon as you push the code here, from here, it will make a automatic builds. Okay, let's see. Soon we'll come to this phase. It's now downloading the source. It takes few seconds. Okay, so be patient on that times. Install. Now it's come to the pre-build phase. Let's see. Enter the pre-build phase. See. So you got an error here. Command execution error while executing command db username reason exit status 17127. See, what's the problem here? We didn't echo it. Echo. Let's push it again. And push it. Let's try the build. Let's start the build and see what happens. Okay, now into the pre-build phase. Running the npm installation done. Okay, see here db username. So the interesting part here in the console log also, then you're not able to see what's actual username is or the actual password is, but in normal environment what it is showing, right? That's how for the secure parts, secure environment variables use from the parameter source. That will be very useful and it will be much more secure. Okay, make sure that you remember that part while doing the actual implementation. Never mistake that one. Okay. Okay, I think I have shown you like how you can use environment variables on a Docker. Now let's come into automation part. How can we automatically start the build from the AWS CloudWatch? Let's go there. Let's open the AWS CloudWatch. Here's a CloudWatch. And after the CloudWatch open, go to the events. Start it. See, there's two way schedule. Suppose you want to automatically after 5 minutes, 1 day or whatever time you want to automatically start the build, you can do like here minutes at target. So this is schedule 5 minutes or maybe 5 hours, day, whatever, it's up to you. Say 5 hour target. What target? If you want to function it's a lambda. We are here we are going for the code build, right? Code build. Give the project ARN. So let's go to code build, demo project, and there we'll get the ARN of the project. Here you can copy it and you can paste it here. Configure input. If you want to set any input, you can do that. I'm not doing it. I can just showing that you can do it. Instead of that, what if a service name, instead of that, do using event pattern? That's much more useful and much more dynamic. So code build, select service name as code build, event type, code build state change, or code build phase change there. But actually here we are not talking about the code build, right? We are not sending a notification or something like that. Instead, what we want is from the code commit, if someone push the codes, then the code build process should start, right? So let's do that. Code commit, then event. So code commit, comment on code commit, repository state change, comment on pull request, approval, comment reaction change, or AWS API call via CloudTrail. So instead here we'll call it AWS code commit repository state change. Okay, let's say any resource by ARN. You can do specify by ARN, or you can specify resources by ARN. Okay, so I'm specifying the specific resource here. Let's go to the code commit there, and if you go to the settings, you should get the ARN here. See, this is the ARN of the project. Then what is the target for that? So source is this, and the resource is this, and the target. We have already set the target here while doing the select the schedule. Okay, I think that's done. Now configure details. So name auto code deploy. Create rule. Okay, so you have created the rule. Now let's go to code build and build projects. Now suppose we make any change. Okay, let's say that. So yes, just say we are removing all this. So it should not come into the console log anymore. I'm saying removed console logs for secrets. Okay, what will happen? Let's see. See, automatic build started. It's coming to phase details that submitted, code provisioning is happening. So you can automate by that way. Now, I will not even suggest you to this way, because instead we should go for the pipeline. But yeah, that I will cover in the next session. So be sure to cover that session. But yeah, let's go. Let's see how it works. It's now installed. Now it's coming to pre-build state. Yes. Then the npm install command. But see how easy it is to do things, right? If I'm able to do, you can also do it, right? And yeah, good. We are not printing the password username anymore. And done. Test all good. So yeah, this is how it is. And I think we have covered most of the things. You learn how to do automatically builds also and all. So if you like this session, do like, subscribe, and yeah, there is a weekly challenge going on. So I will post about the challenge tomorrow. Make sure each Monday I will post within maybe in the morning or night. I don't know when I post, but I will post for sure. if you able to answer that, whoever able to answer first with some good logics will get $50 AWS credits from me. I will personally give it to you. Okay, so if you are all good, let's do that. Oh yes, you have to be my subscriber. You have to click on the allied icon. Otherwise, you will not get notified automatically. Whoever get notified, they will put the answer first, right? So do that, and I think yeah, you learned some very interesting things, right? And be sure to cover all the videos of this series, because at the end we'll be mastering the AWS, DevOps with AWS, not with just the AWS, but you can think of similar way in other program, in other platform also, right? That could be a very base thing. Okay, I think all good. If if you have any problem, let me reach out to me. You reach out to me in LinkedIn, YouTube, here in the comments, anywhere. I will try to answer as soon as possible. And of course, if you able to do it successfully yourself, let me know in the, like, you do make a post and mentioning me LinkedIn. It will feel, I will feel very good if you do that. Okay, because someone trying, it's just exciting to see that everyone trying all that what I'm teaching. So yeah, thank you very much for watching till then. I know it's not a small one, it's a big one, but I'm very happy and that you watched till now, and it will be definitely useful for your project. Okay, thank you.